Man, I don't know what movie to pick. We're in October, and I still don't have a movie review up. Everything's been done. I mean, I did slashers, that's pretty obscure. I just don't know what else I could possibly do. Everyone's gonna do Halloween. I have an idea. Follow me. Alright, this is it, where I keep my secret stash of really bad horror movies. So, without further ado, let's get the next movie. Here we are. Let's do this. What happens when you take a movie like this and mix it with the plot of a game like this? You get John Carpenter's Ghosts of Mars. While a lot of people who have seen this movie claim that they enjoyed it, me being one of them, after rewatching it again for the first time in about 15 years, I gotta say, I got some mixed feelings about this one. So Ghosts of Mars, a horror movie set in space. Not a new idea, but still one that I love. Loving science fiction movies and loving horror movies, it mixes and marries those two perfectly in a lot of ways. Having the unknowns of space and having the deep hell that you can unlock when exploring scientific matters that you probably shouldn't be messing with makes for a very good horror story. So the plot of the movie. It is the year 2025, and Earth somehow found a way to colonize Mars. Granted, it's not as sophisticated as you would think. We're kind of living in like mud huts on Mars is what it looks like, mixed with some regular buildings. It doesn't look like we got very far in the process. It's not like, you know, the movie Aliens where Hadley's Hope was like pretty well established looking. This looks like we're still living pretty primitively on Mars.
So this is Shining Canyon? God, what a dump.
First time in the boonies, eh, rookie?
Standard layout. Just another shitty boomtown like all the others. Same one, you can go home.
You're always cold, you can't get a decent shower, and they don't tell you that a one-year contract here equals 2 years Earth time.
Anyway, the plot of the movie is this special team of police officers is out to attain and bring back James Desolation Williams, played by Ice Cube, for murders he is accused of committing in the town, beheading people, chopping up their bodies, trying to rob them, a bunch of crazy shit. And when they get there, the town isn't what they think it is.
Where is everybody?
Yeah, Friday night the place should be packed. I mean, a whole 12 hours before sunup, and there's money to burn, horse to fuck, and drugs to take. Instead, we got a graveyard.
And it looks like only Mr. Desolation is alive and needs to be brought back. Sounds awfully familiar to another movie. Anyway, when the officers get there, they find that the entire town is deserted, and when they go exploring, things are not what they seem to be. It looks like a lot of the colonists have been murdered in brutal, brutal ways. There's people's heads on pikes, there's body parts laying all over the place.
Monsieur! Monsieur!
September 28th.
And of course, lo and behold, the only sole survivor from what we've seen up to this point is Desolation Smith, Ice Cube, sitting alone in his cell, just kinda chilling.
Are you aware of what's going on outside?
And before I forget, the lead officer is played by one of the 90s classic underground scream queens, Natasha Henstridge, who was the alien in Species.
She'll kill anyone that gets in her way.
I wouldn't hurt you. Yes, you would. I just don't know it yet.
So as the officers are interrogating Ice Cube, he claims that he has no idea how these people died and he did nothing wrong. Of course, they're not going to believe him, and a little side note is Natasha Henstridge's character, she's also kind of a junkie, to say the least. So keep that in mind for later on for a nonsensical part in the movie that we're going to talk about later. So as the officers are exploring the town, they end up finding a couple more survivors who are telling them to stay away and that they're infected and don't come near them and don't kill them and stuff like that, because there's something inside of them. Something inside of them that they don't want getting out. Some of the survivors do end up turning hostile though and do need to be killed. And when they are, this goes from a science fiction horror movie to Evil Dead in space.
How the hell that happened?
This movie's whole plot of like how the planet got all fucked up and the settlement got all destroyed is actually summed up in about 5 minutes from one of the survivors. And it's really simple. They were excavating a dig site and they found a tunnel. And in this tunnel there was a tomb. And on the tomb
sleep, awakened us from our ancient slumber. You will die, like the others before you. One by one, we will take you.
and then all of a sudden, Deadites.
Killing was
Oh, I'm sorry, Ancient Mars demons.
pattern change. Cutting people's faces off. Wearing them for masks.
Now, remember what I said, how Natasha's character is like a junkie? Well, apparently she's the only one in this entire movie that found a way to beat the Deadite possession of this film. And that's make sure to have taken as many drugs as humanly possible, and all you're gonna do is throw the demon monster gas back up. So now that the team knows the whole story about the Martian Deadites and everything like that, it's a desperate struggle to escape the planet and not get killed in the process. But unfortunately, the dead don't stay dead. Or at least the demon Mars gas doesn't. On a scale of 1 to 10, I give Ghost of Mars a 7. Now, it was a teeter for me. I almost gave this movie a 6. But because there were so many parts in the film where I'm just laughing because of how cheesy and how just overacted some of the parts are, and like Jason Statham is in this and he's like really random and has, all he does in this movie, I swear, is make a bunch of fucked up weird faces throughout the movie. He's just like utterly disgusted at everything he sees, like someone farted in his face.
Anybody here? What?
I feel like they had good intentions to make this movie more than what it was, and then as it played out, it was just like, man, the story is just not very good. But we already spent the money, so we gotta finish this movie. I think this movie was meant to be like a joke or a parody at one point, because it just seems like they borrowed so many ideas from other better horror movies and sci-fi movies and kind of mashed them in together, and it didn't work very well. I mean, look what happens when I make Ghosts of Mars look like a Doom commercial.
And I say to you, my brothers and sisters, hell is a deep, dark, foul-smelling prison of the damned, filled with fire and brimstone, lost souls and demons. And how do you escape this eternal damnation? You blast the nasty pink demons right into their beady little eyes.
Doom for the 64-bit Jaguar, the best Doom ever.
If you love really, really cheesy horror movies that are very campy and have a ton of horror movie tropes thrown in, mixed in with nonsensical slow motion parts of people running, fighting, screaming, then this movie's definitely for you. Like I said, it's not a terrible movie. It's a very weird film. When you look at John Carpenter's career of films, he's made some of my most favorite horror movies and sci-fi movies ever made. Big Trouble in Little China, They Live, The Thing. And then you go from those to Ghost on Mars, and it just doesn't seem to fit with the Carpenter's, just his legacy of movies. It just doesn't fit for some reason. It feels very forced. And I mean, just look at the look that Ice Cube gives you right before the movie ends, people. Look at it. It's like he's just giving you the nod to let you know that, like, this movie's shit.
You'd make a hell of a cop.
Nah, let's just kick some ass.
It's what we do best.
Damn, it feels good to be a ghost.
I know it sounds like I've been shitting all over this movie the entire time, and I kinda am, but I still really do like this movie as far as like a cheesy romp. It's like a movie that I probably will never watch again for like another 10 or 15 years. It's very forgettable because that the movie's plot and everything doesn't stand out in any way. It's borrowed heavily from other movies, like I said before, that are way better than it, and it seems like it's just near like the 40-minute mark that the entire plot of the story just kind of drags on. And the ending isn't as satisfying as I'd like it to be. Anyway guys, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and I will see you on the next movie review. I gotta go put this back in my storage now. See you later.
Seems fairly obvious. Klaatu! Miranda!